Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain. So we're back here in Necro 3, doing our final one of the 4 walk-ups. I mean, they're not really walk-ups, but they are the pre-flags for the last one, which in our case is Cursed Crypt. So this one here is Tomb of the Blighted. So we're going to just jump right in. Now this one has a unique mechanic in the aspect of certain vines cannot be broken unless hit with a specific quest-based item first. So in order to obtain that, you're going to just keep heading north. Just past here, we're going to see a bottomless pouch of vials. And then you can use those, come back here, touch the blessed fountain, and in your inventory it will have 10 vials of blessed water. Now you are going to want to put these on your quick bar, as you will be using them fairly often. Now the other thing to note is this is the first quest that started with the you kill an enemy and then he respawns as another form of enemy. So it's just another little cool mechanic there. So the other thing that they have are oozes. Everywhere has oozes. These ones are just a pain. Now, the other bit with this is the water here. So this water right here can give you a special debuff, which I'll just get, called Blight Rod. Lasts for a little bit of time, and then once it hits 0, it will give you a stack of negative to all stats, or might not be all stats, but it's I do know a good 3 or 4 of them, and it's just ultimately a real pain in the butt debuff to get, so I definitely recommend just trying to avoid it. If, however, you do happen to step in the water and get that debuff, don't worry, just let the person who has the glass vials know. He can actually throw a spot on the ground, which will create a fairly large little blue spot of water. If you step on that, it will remove the buff, or debuff rather. Or you can go and talk to the fountains. Now, the other thing to note is there are also these little corrupted urns that you can go through and throw these potions at. So I'm just gonna, if it wants to let me, there we go. So are these corrupted ones that you can throw the potions at, which will actually then purify it and give you another optional. So, I mean, it's not a lot of experience, and it does lead you, I mean, you gotta go semi-close to them, but it does take a fair amount extra time to go and do them, almost doubling the length of the quest for only an extra couple of thousand experience. Again, my opinion, not overly worth it, but just to show you what that's like. So you would take these, queue it up, then all you do is you'd hit the urn. So as you can see, we got 9 urns left, so there's 10 total. It's a lot out of the way, not worth it. You also have an optional to kill the oozes. As you can see, 36 left. They do respawn around the edges. So, I mean, you can always go and do that. But again, it's kind of one of those, if you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. I typically don't go out of my way. Alright. So, once you are progressing down, you will run into these rooms that have a giant gelatinous cube. This is essentially what is poisoning the water. Once they die, it will reveal the normal fountain. It gives you this water here, which is safe. And then you can go ahead and select the altar to refill up the pouches. That way you don't have to run back to the start every time that pouch of 10 runs out, kind of saving you a whole lot of time. From here, same as before, kind of just make your way around the outside edge. I personally, and a lot of people tend to go counterclockwise in this quest. Really doesn't make a difference whether you go counter or normal. It's dealer's choice. And I love how I just called clockwise just normal. I also love how every one of you knew exactly what I was talking about. So now that we go a little bit further in, we're going to get to our next section. Just again, similar thing here, a bunch of the urns on the side, more enemies. And then we can progress. Now, another thing to point out, the throwable potions there actually do damage to these enemies as well. So you could technically use them as a weapon, though the fact that you only get, well, 10 shots with them might not be the most effective weapon. And would have you coming back often. Now, there is a trick currently with druids in animal form, where you are holding on to a potion, and when you attack, it does give off that potion's effect. Unfortunately, that effect doesn't count towards breaking these the barriers, and you do gotta rely on throwing it. So if you got a druid in wolf form, unfortunately you're gonna have to do a lot of shifting, or have somebody else throw it there.
Crisp, clean water begins to flow from the fountain.
Alright. So that is now 2 of 3. So you just want to keep heading around. At this point, we got spiders, so, I mean, it kind of breaks it up. Overall, I actually kind of enjoy this quest. It's a unique mechanic with the debuff, having to avoid essentially the water, as well as with the enemies spawning in their different forms. It's just, it's kind of interesting. And as always, with the giant ooze, I love splitting them, but with splitting them comes the danger of multiple reapers. But you can get these multiple champions, so you get these stacks of rems like we got here as well, so kind of plus sides and downsides. And another one. Alright, so once you get past here, you do want to head into the water and kind of jump your way across. Now, one thing I do want to point out that a lot of people don't know is down here in the water, you actually have a little passageway through, which will give you an iron key. Now this iron key is actually used to unlock a chest, which should be up in this corner just up here. Yeah, so there's the thing. Let's hit them with debuff remover. So yeah, actually just up here and through these. Maybe it's not this one. Alright, anyway, one of these paths will have a chest in them, which is locked, not pickable, and that's where you would use that iron key that you loot down here in the water, allowing you to, again, progress and do that. But I'm not exactly sure where that chest is. Again, that's not something that even I tend to do, as the XP is just not worth it, even for somebody who loves XP. Alright, so a little bit further in, we come now to our last ooze. Now, at this point, once you cleanse this altar by killing the ooze, if you have anybody in your party, such as like we have our bard, we can actually use Dimension Door here, and that will take us right back to the beginning. So here we go. And from here we can just run straight ahead. Now if you do not have Dimension Door, from that location, you have two options. Obviously you can head all the way back around to where the start is, or you can just continue around the corner here and make your way to where it started. So it's kind of a dealer's choice in that situation. For time and speed, I definitely recommend, if you have access to D-Door, take it. Typically speaking, unless you're constantly running around the outside edge, to get those oozes as they endlessly respawn, again, it's just going to take too long, and you probably won't get your conquest. And even if you do get conquest, like, I mean, it's not that much extra experience. So we got 26,000 for that, 12 minutes, not terrible. Here we are for our last scarab. So we just got one more, which we'll get to at next level, and you'll see what we can get from there. But anyway, guys, that's been the 4 main quests here for Necro 3. Again, we got one last one at Cursed Crypt, which we'll get to in another video. Hope you guys enjoyed as much as I know I do. Have a good one all.